Did you know that Marvel is known for being meticulous in their movies, adding so many details and callbacks that many people miss? So let me share a few of them with you, as I have compiled 10 Marvel movie details you might have missed. Why does Doctor Strange immediately lose to Ebony Maw while he fights fairly well against Thanos? Does this mean Squidward is stronger than Thanos? Well, no. This happens because when Strange fights Ebony Maw, it's his first time encountering Thanos' army. Combined with his massive ego, he underestimates how strong Squidward is. But when Strange fights Thanos on Titan, he knows how big of a threat Thanos is and pulls out all his strongest spells and trump cards. Why did Captain America whisper his iconic line instead of screaming it?
Avengers! Assemble.
In Avengers Endgame, instead of screaming "Assemble," Cap chooses to whisper it. But there's actually a deeper meaning behind this. We all know that Cap is a strategist, and he knows it's much better for T'Challa and Thor to scream their war cries, since they are both kings and can boost the morale of their armies much better. So instead of screaming, he just used the Avengers Assemble to signal Thor and T'Challa to start the war.
Assemble.
In Spider-Man Far From Home, when Peter is fighting the drones, he runs out of web.
Oh, great, no webs.
This is because he forgot to add the extra web cartridges that his previous suit had.
That thing. I'm shocked.
This proves why Tony is such a genius, and he takes every variable into account. Did you know that in the first Avengers movie, when Thor hits Cap's shield, it creates a shockwave that throws everything around him? Well, they actually did it again in Age of Ultron while fighting Hydra soldiers. But the strongest version of this move is in Endgame. When Cap performed it alone, the shockwave was powerful enough to make Thanos stumble. In Infinity War, how exactly did Strange know that they will only won once out of 14 million possibilities? This is because it's the only timeline where the TVA didn't intervene and allowed them to borrow the stones. Because even if they managed to defeat Thanos, the TVA could have pruned them, and they'd still lose. So when Strange saw that this was the only path that the TVA didn't show up, he decided to go with it. In Spider-Man No Way Home, when Tobey and Andrew fight Electro, they both get hit by his lightning. However, if you look closely, only Tobey seems hurt and is holding his chest, while Andrew is still standing. Many people think this is because Tobey's Spider-Man is getting older. But actually, it's because this is the first time Tobey has fought an enemy who uses electricity. But Andrew, on the other hand, already fought Electro in his universe and could have modified his suit to be more non-conductive. Why do Doctor Strange and Tony Stark almost lose to Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian, but give Thanos a hard time? This is because both Strange and Tony have narcissistic personalities, and this is their first time fighting together. They weren't ready to work as a team. You can actually see here that Tony doesn't care and disrupts Strange and Wong's spell casting. In Spider-Man No Way Home, when Doc Ock attacks Peter, you can see that Peter's tie gets cut in half. Many people think this is because of a stab from Doc Ock, but actually, it's because when Peter removes the nanotech helmet to close his chest, his tie gets in the way and gets cut. This is the same reason why Tony tightened his jacket in Infinity War before activating the nanotech, to avoid shredding his clothes. Before Loki bites the dust in Infinity War, he says this to Thanos. But these words actually have a deeper meaning behind it, because on Titan, Iron Man manages to make Thanos kneel and bleed.
All that for a drop of blood.
And do you remember what Ivan Vanko says in Iron Man 2?
If you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him, and they will be blood in the water.
When Zeus flicks Thor's clothes in Thor Love and Thunder, we see his back tattoo. If you look closely, not only is Loki included, but there's also a list of people Thor has lost. Odin, Frigga, Heimdall, Loki, Tony, and Natasha. However, Loki's name has a question mark next to it. This is because Thor still hopes that Loki somehow tricked him again and didn't really die against Thanos in Infinity War.